look at the LeetCode problem valid parenthesis. So this problem is categorized as a common Facebook phone interview question. So in this problem, you'll be given a string S, which consists of only opening and closing brackets. And you need to determine if the input string is valid, which means that for every open bracket, it should be followed by closing bracket, and they must be in the correct order. So for example, here's a few examples of ones which are in correct order. And here's an example where it's not in the correct order, so if it's an angle bracket followed by a square bracket. So they have given us a few statements that the input shall only consist of these strings. So that makes it easier for us to code. So for problems such as this, the easiest way to solve it is by using a stack data structure. So stack works on the last in first out principle. So whenever we have a opening bracket, we keep adding it to the stack, and when we encounter a closing bracket, we remove elements from the stack and make sure that they are in sync. So yeah, let's try coding that solution. So first thing is creating a stack. Next, we're going to traverse the string, one character at a time. So for that, we'll convert it into a character array. So we're going to use a for each loop for this. So first thing we need to do is we need to determine if it's an opening or a closing bracket. So let's create some helper methods. First thing is if it's an opening bracket, we'll add it to the stack. So we create a method which returns a Boolean value. So since they've already specified that the input will only consist of these characters, we can do it manually. So return C. Or C. So yeah, we're just going to use the three characters that are specified here to determine if it's an opening bracket. So let's add that. So if So if it's a closing bracket, you have you have to select first determine if the stack is empty or not. If the stack is empty, then obviously the input string is invalid. So we'll add a check for that. If next we're going to check if the stack is not empty, but the value inside the stack does not correspond to the the closing bracket that is passed. So for that we need to return false. So for that let's create another helper method for that. So we'll have this helper method take in a character and return the corresponding opening bracket for it. So let's try that. So we're going to use a switch statement for it. So if it's a closing angle bracket, since we're using return, we don't need the break statements here. And the default will be the square bracket. So yeah, let's just add that condition here. So if At the end, after we have processed all of the values in the string, we need to make a check if the stack is empty or not. If the stack is non-empty, that means there was an opening bracket and there's no closing bracket for it in the entire string. So yeah, let's do a recap. So essentially we're creating a stack data structure, and if it's an opening bracket, we keep adding values inside the stack. If not, we keep removing the values from the stack, and we make sure that whatever value that we have is in sync with the closing bracket. So let's try running the solution. Okay, 3 use cases have passed. Submitting it. So yeah, for the solution, the big O notation is O of n. So it's a linear solution where n is the length of the string, since we are just traversing the string once. And for memory complexity will also be O of n, since we're using a stack data structure which keeps adding values to it.